this is Jana and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're having fish tacos. It's truly one of my favorite things. The last time I had a fish taco was when I was in Atlanta visiting our daughter and her family, and we went to their favorite corner taqueria and had a variety of street tacos, but it doesn't matter where I have a street taco. I always like fish tacos best. So I'm going to show you tonight two different ways to do the fish tacos. You can also grill them, but I'm not able to start my grill this evening. And so I've got 1 cup of flour in here, and I'm going to add about a quarter cup of, a little bit less than a quarter cup of cornstarch. Or you can use all flour if you don't have the cornstarch. And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of paprika, just regular paprika. And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to whisk these together, and then we're going to add some beer. I've got a 16-ounce pint here of light beer. Someone asked me on my regular beer batter the other day when I was doing beer battered fish. They were asking if it has to be cold or room temperature. You can use it either way, or you can use a sparkling water. Anything with the bubbles in it, right? And so you could use club soda. That'll work. I am going to get this almost completely done here, and then we're going to make a delicious yogurt chipotle slaw that we're going to put on top of this. This is a really fast meal, it really is. And I hand chop some green and some red cabbage, but if you don't want to chop all that, you can just stop and buy a package of the coleslaw. Pick up unflavored yogurt, some chipotle salsa. And so I like to have this thin, not too thin. Add just a little bit because the gluten's going to work. There we go. Now I'm going to set this behind me by the stove. And then we're going to come back. And I've got a 5-ounce carton of whole, it's 5% fat whole yogurt. But you can do whatever. I got the lid in here. Jack and Bailey are barking to get in the house. I have a noise canceling microphone. I realized why you guys couldn't hear my crunchy batter the other day when I was scratching at my beer batter fish. And I'm like, well, you should be able to hear that because it's so crunchy. But I realized my noise canceling microphone did not allow that to happen. So you don't always hear Jack and Bailey barking when I hear them just fine. And so I'm going to do that. And I've got about 3 tablespoons in, and now I'm going to put in some lime juice, and this is to taste. So even though I'm giving you some measurements, this is a half a lime for brightness. And then I'm going to set it aside. And then we're going to put that on. After I taste it, I'm going to let it settle a little bit, and I'm going to put in a little tiny pinch of salt into this. But before I put the salt in, I'm going to taste it, because if that chipotle salsa has too much salt in it, then I don't need to add it to because it's going to go into the coleslaw, so it's going to need a little bit of salt, but I don't want to over salt. That is so delicious. It really is. Now I'm going to grab a spatula, and I'm going to add that to my slaw. And you can add onion to the slaw if you want to. Jack and Bailey are all excited. You can hear them back here. They want to play. They've been cooped up in the house with me today. I've been working on some projects, and so anyway, you might hear them moving around and see them moving around here. They just love their family. And they're always up for a good play. They like to go out in the backyard and play catch. That's Jack's favorite thing. Okay, so as you know, anybody who's ever made coleslaw before, you know that this is going to get softer as it sits here. So I'm just going to set this to the side now, and we'll come back to it in a little bit and stir it. And so we're going to turn the cameras around in just a few minutes. I did make a pico de gallo, and I've got some marinated onions, red onions, and some limes cut, and that's how we're going to finish up these fish tacos. And so we're going to turn our camera around here in a couple minutes, and then we're going to start on that fish tacos. All right, this is Jana, and we got our camera turned around. So we are going to do fish tacos and do the fish. So I have some haddock today. Like I said, I like haddock, I like halibut, I like walleye, any white fish. I like cod, and there's pollock. There's all kinds of different fish. And so I'm going to do it two different ways. Since we're doing tacos, I cut the pieces so that they'll fit into my soft shell taco. You can do crunchy tacos too. And so I'm dipping them in a little bit of flour, lightly, okay? Lightly seasoned. Just want to get it all coated just so that the beer batter has something to cling to. I've got a towel behind me, wipe my fingers off. And so we're going to start with these. And you want your beer batter, check it after a few minutes, because you want your beer batter to be thin enough so that it isn't so thick, okay? You want it to be thin. And so we're going to put those there. And then I didn't want them all touching in there. And you know that one long something silver something, if you like those little extra things, you can do that with your beer batter too. We can do anything at this house. We can do anything we want to. We're grown, that's what we always say. And so, got one more piece here. Crunch, crunch, I've got a cast iron skillet heated next to me here because I'm going to warm my tortilla. I love fish. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. And then I have some cornmeal fish fry. I'm going to roll these, and that's the other way you can do it if you just like a crispy, instead of beer batter, if you like a crispy fish taco without all the fancy beer batter. And then the other thing I was going to show you is I also like to cut for fish tacos into bite-sized pieces. And put those in there. And for your beer batter, if you want to, instead of using salt, you can use a taco seasoning mix. And it's got the paprika and everything already in that if you want to have your fish have that flavor. So we're going to come back when this beer batter fish and this breaded fish are ready to come out, and we're going to make our tacos. We're going to flip them here in a minute. All right, it's been about a minute, minute and a half. And you really only want to turn beer batter one time so you can peek underneath it and see if it's getting nice and golden. We don't want to overcook our fish, do we? No, we don't. Look at that. Yum. And those little crispies off to the side. So good. Well, I'm going to wait just a minute. Oh, that's ready to go. And our little fish nuggets for our tacos. We're not under construction. Jack and Bailey have their tails going again tonight. So we'll be back in just a minute, and we're going to warm our tortillas. Look what I have here in my kitchen. I have some nice toasty warm tortillas all warmed up. I'm going to put some fish into my fish taco. I'm going to take some of this yogurt Chipotle slaw. I have some pico de gallo. And pico de gallo is equal parts of chopped, diced Roma tomatoes, or I used my grape tomatoes, jalapeno, and onion, fresh onion, and then I put a little bit of lime juice on it, and then you can taste it to your taste if you want to add a little bit of salt, but it's kind of like the Mexican flag colors. And I like it spicy, so I'm going to add a little bit of that. And then I've got, and it already has the lime in it. And then I've got some fresh pickled onions that I made. And these are red onions, and it's just a simple syrup type thing. It's got, I bring to a simmer some water and I add vinegar to it and some sugar. And then I pour in some red pepper flakes because I like spicy. And look at that. That is just a beautiful taco. Now I'm going to use my fried fish. There we go. Put a little extra in that one. I'm going to put my yogurt Chipotle coleslaw on there. And I'm going to put my pico de gallo on there. All these recipes are going to be in the description box. I write them all out for you, so you don't have to try and figure out what I did. Put a little bit of this pickled onion on there. And you know, everything is better in threes. And so I'm even going to do one more fish taco with that yogurt Chipotle slaw. I'm going to put my onions underneath, and then this one, I'm going to do the pico de gallo on top. And for extra crunch, since I had my oil and my beer batter, I fried up some crispy onion rings. You can look at my beer battered fish recipe for the recipe on how I do those, but I just take the onion slices and dip them in flour and then into the beer batter and into 400-degree oil. And then I also, because I had some extra from making my pico de gallo, some jalapenos, and so I deep fried some jalapenos, and that is Erin's one of her favorite things. She always orders at restaurants. And you can, if you don't want to use that, you can, the slaw, you can also use lettuce if that's what your family likes. And so I thank you for stopping by my kitchen, and I'm going to eat with this as soon as we're off camera. And I am so excited that you were here today. Please stop by and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and please, if you like it, hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and I love all your comments. Thank you, and have a great weekend.